How do I teach a student math when I am not confident in myself with math? How do I communicate place value where the student understands? How am I going to know if the students are understanding what I am teaching them? These are all questions I started out with before I began tutoring. The first time I went to Taylor for this class, I was beyond nervous. I did not know what to expect, and this was my first time to actually be in a classroom and be responsible for what I was teaching the students. I actually was going to have to know the information I was presenting the students. It was not a hypothetical situation with a pretend student. Throughout this experience, I grew more comfortable each time I went to the school. After my first time at Taylor, I felt more at ease. I was blessed with well-behaved students and never encountered behavior problems. I would always set the schedule and expectation chart where all the students could see it. I think this helped because if the students were questionable on what they were supposed to be doing, they could glance at the chart. I also had this out so if I did ever encounter a problem, we could refer to it. Again though, my students were well behaved and I never had to pull out cue cards to keep them on task. They were all eager to learn and did everything I asked of them to the best of their ability. Through this experience, I learned that you can teach the same content over a period of time. I found multiple ways to teach place value to help fill the holes or gaps in my students' learning. This reminded me of my time in school and when my teachers would keep throwing new information at me when I did not have the basic knowledge down. And that is when I began to learn the procedures and not truly understand what I was doing. In teaching my students, I did not want to just teach them the procedures. I wanted them to truly understand the concepts I was presenting them with. When working with place value, I would keep probing my students with questions to help fill in their gaps. I also searched and concurred with others to find different games and activities for the students to work on to help them build their comprehension on place value in a fun way. It was also nice that when I saw a student struggling more than the other students, my partner was able to work with them and help them understand the concept better. By looking at the students' math journals, I was able to see what the students understood and what was difficult for them. When planning my lessons, I found it was easier to remember and see what the students grasped and did not grasp when I had a rubric or checklist readily available. In my other classes, we have talked about using authentic practices and hands-on experiences. During my time of tutoring, I actually got to see the benefits of using manipulatives and modeling to the students. By giving the students opportunities to use manipulatives, I could see where the students' gaps were being filled and where the gaps were still present. Also, when modeling, I was able to show what I wanted the students to do, so there was less confusion. As a future teacher, I will want to use hands-on experiences, modeling, and questioning to help the students truly understand math or anything that I am teaching them, not just the procedures.
You're going to write that number down on this, okay? But you have to pay attention.